Get them fired up and get them to the staging lanes, baby, because 8th Mile Apparel is now carrying Glowing Bracket Racing merch. Hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and much more can be yours today by visiting 8thmileapparel.com. We appreciate each and every one of you guys supporting the Glowing Bracket Racing YouTube and Facebook pages.
And I'm not going to lose power today because it looks pretty decent outside. It's only a little bit of rain, guys. I hate it whenever it gets cold outside. GBR Live, it is January 16th, 2024, episode 141 of GBR Live. We got to thank those people that have allowed us to get to this 141st episode, which is starting with TSR Racing Products. And by the way, we're doing a big, what do you want to call it? Raffle. Not a raffle.
Yeah, fundraiser. Just call it a fundraiser. Good cause.
We got Duzens giving away a set of beadlocks. We got a Racer in Need man doing a whole bunch of medical type things going on, trying to pay for some surgeries, things like that. But grand prize winner gets a set of Duzen beadlock conversions. Second place gets some TSR certificates. Might be giving that to third place as well. I'm not 100% certain yet. And then, of course, fourth place, you get GBR merch. Every $25 you spend gets you an entry into the whole raffle. So we got some people supporting that deal, so we appreciate that. If you want to go get that, George will, what do they do, George? GBR Media, is that right, on PayPal?
Yeah, that's the PayPal, of course. If you just go on to the Glowing Bracket Racing Facebook page there is a post. It's got all the specifics. It's got some images pertaining to what type of work Duzen does. Looks pretty good, by the way. I can tell you right now, I had never really heard of Duzen, but I'll be heading over there for a beadlock service once I need mine done. And I've already told my old man he's got a set he needs done as well. But go ahead and follow the instructions on that post. Anything helps. All proceeds going towards the patient in order to help him get to his recovery as quickly as possible there. So definitely, if you have any questions, send a message out to the Going Bracket Racing Facebook, goingbracketracing@gmail.com, whichever you need to use there.
Absolutely. Of course, going back into it, BRG 3D printed parts. Anything you need, Brian Garrett will print it up for you. If you can't find it somewhere else, he'll custom make it for you. Syntex Printing out there in Temple, Texas. Driven Racing Oil, use the code GBR10. Get yourself 10% off your order. Proform Parts, visit proformparts.com for your carburetors, alternators, starters, radiators, distributors, tools. Man, I really like the tools. I got about one of everything right now. I just got a bunch more in the mail the other day. Crew Chief Pro Software, he just did one of those live shows, or is getting ready to do a live show. More information on GBR Facebook page about that, explaining kind of what his new things he's doing for alcohol and E85 combinations. And of course, if you need some GBR merch, you got to visit 8thmileapparel.com. Get you some hats, hoodies, t-shirts. I got even a onesie for my little boy. So we're ready to go to the racetrack this year for sure. So, George, that all being said, what have you been up to?
Not much, man. Not much. Just staying busy. Of course, off season's here. Trying to make sure I get old Mo in a good space to slap people like he does on the Three Stooges. If you didn't know, that's where I got the name anyway, from old Mo. But otherwise, Casey, just staying busy and looking forward to this show. Honestly, man,
Wasn't Mo the king of the idiots?
Hey, I don't know. So me behind the wheel of a race car, I have a good idiotic few moments, so it might be fitting in the first place. So we know how that goes. But no, man, this is the show that we have today. We want to bring on our show return guests with an S. It's going to be Mel Roth and Larry Jeffers out of IHRA, guys. And I know a bunch of you have questions surrounding what's coming out of IHRA. Everybody's pretty excited from what we can see here. Let's add to that excitement in a question and answer sequence as we bring Mel Roth, Larry Jeffers to the front and center stage here at the Going Bracket Racing community. Welcome in, fellas. Welcome in.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, George. Thanks, JP. We appreciate you guys.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
So and it is open concept here. We don't have a script. We're just going to basically speak out some of the questions you might have in the chat. So feel free to chime in, whatever your thoughts are. Let's keep it constructive as possible, if we would please. We're trying to make everything as good as possible. So the more constructive we are, you never know, maybe we might produce a pretty good structure based on constructiveness. So, one thing I know we're going to be talking about right off the bat is the Hot Rod Classics that are coming to areas near us. And so I've got questions that have come in through Facebook. My first question is going to be, how were the tracks or locations selected? I have to imagine you guys had some type of a thought process in why you selected what area you did. And plus, we spoke about this once before on Going Bracket Racing. If you've missed that episode, head back to YouTube. So basically, how did you pick the tracks, the locations for the Hot Rod Classics?
Go ahead, Mel.
I'll take that. So basically, we want to make sure. So this year, the first year is going to be what we call our trial process to see how they work. So we wanted to pick 5 locations. They were great tracks, and in 5 different locations around the country. So we have Texas, so that's going to take care of our Texas. We have Indiana, we have Alabama, South Carolina, and then we have Northern Ohio. 5 really good locations. They got are fan friendly. They're big enough to hold these. We kind of, when we first started it, we weren't going to put a cap on our box and our no box, but then, these are basically shows. So we basically want the race to, if at all possible, to be done around 10 o'clock at night. So we went ahead and limited the box and no box to 64 cars when we announced when the tickets go on sale. We'll see. Well, like I said, we should be able to sell them out fairly quickly in each area. And then if these all work out right, then man, the sky's the limit for next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. And let's talk about the other classes that are offered too, because like you said, obviously box and no box, those are going to be capped fields, things like that. What other classes are available? Because you're going to have your big show class, which a lot of times is Pro Mod, Real Steel No Time class, which I think is going to have a ton of participation. Especially, is that class offered at Darlington?
Yes. Yes. All the classes will be at Darlington and everywhere else. A couple things will be different. Our first race in Texas, we're going to use their Outlaw Pro Mod series as the mystery class. I remember you guys liked that mystery class idea.
Yeah.
And then we're, like I said, there's still going to be a few other additions, by the time these races come to fruition. But so Pro Mod will run at all of them. Top Sportsman, Top Dragster. All 8th mile, just so everyone knows this is all an 8th mile series. We'll be following, PDRA / 8th mile NHRA rules for the caps and everything. Fields and Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, either a 32, 48, or 64 car field, depending on participation. And then the rod classes. The rod classes are pretty cool. I mean, it woke a lot of people up because that's all they ever talked about were the rod classes.
We get so many emails constantly about the rod classes and stock and super stock and all that, but just can't get too big too quick,
Right. And stock and super stock is a whole lot of extra tech that isn't required for all of the other classes. So as far as the rod classes go, remind us of the indexes again real quick, since it's 8th mile.
Hot rod will be 690. Super rod is 630. And then quick rod is 570.
Okay. Yeah, man, I've been hearing about since I moved to the Southeast, everybody was all about those rod classes. Danny Waters Jr. in particular was one of the people that always was talking about the rod classes. When the rod classes come back, I wish they'd come back. Donald Webb, I think, is another guy who's a previous hot rod champion several times. That's always wondered about that. So I would expect those classes to have a lot of participation. And what that leads me to next is obviously we have a capped field for the box and no box class. Is there a cap on any of the other classes?
As of now, no.
So basically, everybody come. We're all coming. We're all trying to go this index, and that's what we're doing.
Right. Yeah, we don't. I mean, will we get 64 cars in them? Possibly. But we're being relatively, just being optimistic, and 32-ish car fields in the rod classes. And then we also have junior dragster. Well, we never, Larry, when he bought this organization, he said that he will never forget having junior dragsters at all of our races, and we will have a junior dragster field.
It's about bringing your family, about a family atmosphere. That's what we're about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's definitely a good place to bring in, and I'll show across the screen kind of the payment structure. But let's talk first about the rod classes, where I see Quick Rod in your 570 index looking at about 2,000 to win. Same kind of across the board. So all the rod classes are kind of using the same structure. And I didn't know if you made any changes to this. I probably should have asked before we got on here, but talk to me about how you guys came up with your payment structure. This actually looks like a really good race for that type of an event. So what went into the thought process behind your payment structure of these races? Let's just go with the rod classes, and we'll come back and talk about the others.
That was all
Larry's the money guy.
No, that was all Mel.
It was all Mel.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to bring the IHRA back and have terrible payouts. We wanted a decent, solid payout to where we can grow from. And this is a rock solid, across the board, all the way through top sportsman, top direction. It's a solid payout. It ends up being like $85,000 per race. So that's a lot of money. I know, some folks say, well, you don't pay our top sportsman guys enough or whatever. I mean, we read the comments. But man, you got to start somewhere. But that's still a great field. I had one guy call me up that won the U.S. Nationals last year, and he won less than $1,500. So that's a U.S. National with like almost a 200 car field. So
right,
we just want them solid, and then, like I said, then we go from there. We're not afraid to adding anything as time goes on.
All we're asking for is a chance. Give us a chance to make this thing great.
Right.
I have two follow-up questions to that. Speaking of payouts, first of all, how about a contingency program? Because I know that obviously all of these class racers, that's the first thing they're all going to ask. What about a contingency program? Are we working on that? Do we have something in order for that?
Yes, we do. We're going to have several companies that are going to be posting, contingency cash, and then we also are signing contingency connection as part of all of our races, and the contingency connection will be part of our team finals, world finals, and our sportsman spectaculars as well. So that's something that we haven't announced publicly yet, but so there's a little scoop right there.
Awesome. When will we see the full information on that? When will that be coming out, as far as who's signed up and how many companies are involved with it and what are they paying, et cetera?
That'll be within the next couple of weeks. So contingency connection will be announced this week. And then, we got our solid companies like Moser and ATI. They'll follow that.
And that's the thing. Is that anybody who's watching this that hasn't been involved with class racing or any kind of divisional type events over the years, the way that contingency works is if you win or runner up the event and you're running that person's sticker and part on your vehicle, which most of the time you have something from, Edelbrock on your car, or Holly, or on and on. MSD, obviously pretty much everybody has something MSD on their car, but the fact of the matter is that you win that race, a lot of times they'll give you $200 more. You do that with 10 companies, that's $2,000 more. So now all of a sudden your $2,000 payout's $4,000. Yep. I heard a podcast with David Rampy. might have actually been Luke and Jed's podcast. David Rampy was on there, and he said in like 1987 when he won the U.S. Nationals, he took home like $15,000-$20,000. I've personally talked to Dan Fletcher about stuff like that in the past of how much contingency means. That's the difference between that's how they used to race for a living, was because the contingency paid so much more that you could legitimately do that back in the day. Why do you think all those NASCAR and Pro Stock and all those guys, all those stickers mean something? They don't all just pay them to have the sticker on there. They give them extra. But
yeah. I actually think more importantly, too, on the top side of that, you guys heard the racer, I feel like. The racer said, hey, we'd love to see a contingency program come back. And what I hear is IHRA delivering on that. Like you just said, Mel, you read the comments, you read the posts, and people have questioned, well, can we get a contingency program? I know a lot of people who may not be 100% up to speed or maybe not all the way on par with the thought process of that contingency program just being a gift certificate. But it's better than zero either way you look at it. So appreciate you guys bringing at least that piece back to the racer itself. Absolutely. Casey, you were going to say something.
Yeah, my second question that I had on that is actually brought up in the YouTube chat over here somewhat. Back to the top sportsman, top dragster stuff. Eric White's asking, first of all, maximum dial for top sportsman and top dragster entries beyond and then I guess the follow-up question, we'll just start with that. So maximum dial in for both those categories real quick.
I have to look because I haven't got it.
I want to say,
it just says 529 for top sportsman, 499 for top dragster, which is the same as PDRA and NHRA.
Okay, and
I didn't want to misquote anything.
Yeah, so. No problem. I was actually getting ready to say it because I had read it already before that. Right. So that's great. Second question was, we had texted back and forth a couple weeks ago, and I was asking how many cars are you going to take, and you said 32, 48, 64, depending on how it worked. The non-qualifiers, which is something we've left out, are going into their own field where whoever didn't qualify is going to race top sportsman and top dragster together in a combined field for the non-qualifiers. Is that still correct?
We haven't finalized that exactly yet because we got to figure out how to do it. Yeah. We see other organizations like even at Vandermeer does it. They put top sportsman and top dragster together, and it just all depends on how many we're going to get. If we get 32 top sportsman cars and we only get 35 top sportsman or dragster, then that's only leaves 3 cars. So it's like one of them deals is, right. We got to figure out what we're going to get before we can figure out what we're going to do. When we first started this deal, we were going to put them into the box category, but now that we capped the box, we can't do that. So that kind of threw kind of a little curveball in there.
Yep, that makes sense.
But yeah, we are working on that, and if we can make it, it's got to be a minimum number of cars to make it work. And if there is only 3 or 4, then that isn't going to work. So we'll put something together for a second chance type race.
Yep. And bear with us too, guys, as we field through these questions. They're coming in kind of a million miles a second, if you want to be honest over here. So if you see me looking back and forth between screen and screen, they're just questions that are coming in. Not to mention, we've already kind of gotten questions sent in ahead of time. One question I know that I saw come through was in relation to weather and your indexes as we go back to the rod classes. In my opinion, I feel like I know the answer to this question. If I say the index is 690 and we're in Colorado, which we aren't according to the track list, I guess you better figure out a way to run 690 is all I see here. Am I correct there? Yep. Well, I didn't see you guys moving the index based on any type of area or location there, which it wouldn't make sense to me to move it, but just had to ask that question. Thank you.
Realistically, yeah, and the thing is, my personal opinion, anymore, they don't need to do that anyway. They don't need to run 940 to go Super Comp racing in Vandermeer evermore. Everybody can go 690 at sea level.
That's true.
So
that's true.
They don't need to do that. That's just too complicated. But this is probably the most important question, and then we'll go into more everybody else questions here. This is my last question. But it's something that I believe everybody's going to want to know because of the fact that obviously a super comp dragster or a super gas car or super street car, if they're not super street racing, a lot of them are bracket racing, they're not class racing. So in that scenario, with this 64 car capped field, will those drivers who are entered in a rod class, will they be allowed to also enter the top bulb class or the mod class, whichever one they choose, with the same car and the same driver? Do they need different cars? Do they need two different drivers? Or is it just, did you get in? Then come on.
So yes, they can enter same car, different driver, whatever. It's only one entry per class. So across the board. So if you can't double enter in any of our classes.
But hypothetically, if you get somebody who's feeling frisky, I was just talking to Adam Booya earlier, and he's one of these guys that do this. If he thinks he can run every single index with the same car, is he allowed to go do it if he can make it to the lanes in time?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
He's going to cause havoc then.
He might. He might, man. You never know with that guy. He's a little bit crazy, but
people just got to realize, and cut some slack. This is a whole learning curve to get this thing going again. There's going to be some hiccups, and we're gonna fuck up. we just gotta. It's a learning curve.
Yep.
Right. No, exactly.
We're just doing what people's been asking us to do.
Exactly.
Since we took this thing over. I mean, this is all stuff that Heather and Mel gets just emails all the time. And hey, when are you going to bring back the rod classes? So that's what we're doing, and we don't want to feel like we're leaving out the stock and super stock. Cause man, we're
not. Yeah.
That's badass. I mean, we'd probably get more cars doing that, but then it's a whole nother side of, like you said, the tech side of it, and then do you have them tech their own class? I mean, can't really do that. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, if this year goes great, then we'll add that next year.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, you have to have a tech official in the stock and super stock classes, especially, that understands what's going on, because first of all, you really have to tech them. Second of all, you can't have a national record if you don't tech people.
No one's teching, right?
Yeah. So, but I mean, that would be great. It'd be great if you guys were looking into that route. Then it would be great to get in contact with CCRA, Carolina Class Racers organization out here, because they already have a really big stronghold, at least in the Southeast by me. I mean, they have 26 races a year. I mean, they race a lot, and there's a lot of cars show up. One of them being Dan Fletcher.
We had them actually booked into
Darlington.
but we couldn't run the Darlington date with all of the NHRA races in the beginning of the year. So we had to move the Darlington date to May. So, and then they were already had a race that weekend. But yeah, we were going to have super stock at Darlington. So.
It would be another
mystery class.
Yeah. Well, another great mystery class would be the gear jammers out here. If you need something for out this way, I know Roxborough's put a lot of money into their track this year, and they're going to have you guys' bracket finals this year for Division I, and they do that gear jammers class up there quite a bit. In fact, I want to say it's legitimately called Roxborough Motorsports Park High Winding Gear Jammers, and who doesn't like hearing 5 speeds pulled in an 1/8 mile?
Right, that's awesome.
Right.
So,
Casey, you got anything on YouTube? I got a couple more.
Track truck guy.
Hats off to Angela out at Roxborough, man. She works her butt off.
yeah, man. They've repaved the entrance. They've repaved the shutdown. I think they repaved the return road. They're having a bunch of Wild 8 stuff this year. I just saw their new schedule was announced. They're having like 4 or 5 Wild 8 classes. I mean, that old Larry, you might know the old PD Fleet Carbon McCoy car. You remember that car?
Yeah.
That car, I think, has been 380s out there. So, I mean, they can handle whatever you want to throw at it for the most part. So that was before all that stuff happened. So,
right. And it's 65th anniversary year for Roxborough, so they're pretty cool deal.
Nice.
Yeah, if you win that championship, you get the cool jacket.
There you go.
So next question I got coming in here, and this is actually a pretty good one, considering as we began the call in the backs behind the curtain, whatever you want to call it, in the backstage. I wanted to bring up kind of the thought about how quickly you guys were going to break the internet when you begin to release the entries, how to enter, things of that nature, which we can come back to. That way we can give out a little bit more tidbit after we answer the question, or keep that in mind when you answer. to give an understanding of where competitors need to go in order to sign up for said class or classes that they want to participate in. Question coming out of Vince Taylor, longtime follower, Going Bracket Racing community here, racer over out here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Top 32 question almost. Looking into next year with you having a 64 car field for top and bottom, is there a chance to take the top 32 competitors from this year and insta-lock them into next year? Or even 16 to kind of add into his question. His was specifically surrounding 32. But in 30 seconds, I'm with Casey here, like we talked behind scenes. In 30 seconds, you will fill a 64 car top bulb race, especially, and I'm speaking for Extreme Raceway Park here, at that particular racetrack. It's going to happen in a matter of seconds, and there are going to be a lot of people who are inevitably left out there, and a lot of local track racers who would like to represent Extreme Raceway Park in a whole. So what are your thoughts on, after you get in for 32 or the 64 car show, the top 32 or the top 16, it doesn't matter to me how many, maybe even it's the top 8, have already locked themselves into next year. Have you guys thought into that any?
No, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, I thought you might like that. I'm pretty sure Vince did too. Yeah. So it's kind of a thought process here. Yep.
Right.
Almost a race inside of a race.
Like I said, the guy, if a guy doesn't get into, I mean, obviously doesn't get into box or no box. I mean, you know, other than a tree, you know, you can go ahead and swap over to the rod classes. So
Sure.
Especially if you're a box guy,
Sure. Nope. Thanks for answering.
But did you want to talk about how they're going to be able to do this process?
Absolutely.
Or you want to do that later?
No, we can go on right now. We're already on the subject. Let's go ahead and put it out there. Yep.
Okay, so the first race we're going to open up is going to be XRP. We're right now tonight. We're putting the event details, kind of like what I started sharing to you guys on Facebook. That'll be on as soon as we get it on ihra.com, and then as soon as that's solid online, then we're going to go ahead and make a post telling everybody that the following day. So we're looking for Thursday right now. Nothing's guaranteed. I want to make sure everything's set up perfectly. We'll have a link to, we have a Fote account. Oh, they go to thefote.com. All the classes will be on there, but it'll be a 64. You'll be able to see how many are left while you're buying your tickets for it. One entry per person. So if their wife wants an entry too, they're gonna have to log in as the wife. So we'll see. So everything will be thefote.com /IHRA is what our the link will be, and we'll have the link on those posts. But then we'll also give a 1 hour warning. So if we're going to do this 7 o'clock Central on Thursday, 6 o'clock, we'll go on and let everyone know 1 hour. We're not going to play no games. We're going to start it right at 7 o'clock. We're not going to start it at 6:55 or whatever. But but like I said, it's a tough deal having to limit it. But if we didn't limit it, we wouldn't probably be able to get these races done.
I don't know if you might be racing for a week straight. I'm sorry about that. Say it again, Larry. I cut you off.
You might be racing for a week straight.
Right. Shoot. I don't know if I said this, and you said 7 p.m. Is that Eastern or Central time?
We're going to do it for the location of each track. So that'll be 7 Central for
Extreme Texas. Mm-hmm. Yep. Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Do you have any idea what the run order is going to be yet? Have you even thought that far into it?
Yes. It's on actually on that one of the posts, I think. So it basically box juniors and then no box. Okay. And then we real steel because they want to use the prep for real steel. And then we go into, so this is going to be Texas, Outlaw Pro Mod. And then they have a 450 Pro Mod bike class. That's kind of a mystery class that Texas we'll announce for Texas.
Awesome.
And then top dragster, top sportsman, quick rod, super rod, hot rod.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
So if you're one of those guys that's going to enter all the classes like my buddy's talking about, then you better have a good cooling system.
Well, the rod classes that go back to back to back, and I mean, there's normally going to be time. If all you need is a decent amount of cars, and as long as you know that you need to be right back in the lanes.
Right, just be the first guy in the lanes, and then that way you'll be good to go. No big deal. Right. Points program. How's the points program going to work for this? Is this something that's I saw a post where the XRP race, it seemed like was being left out, and then the other 4 were going to accumulate points. Am I remembering that correctly?
That is only for Pro Mod.
Okay,
So,
okay. That makes
across
sense.
the board, across the board, it's going to be it'll be 4 out of the 5 races we're going to accumulate points for. But Pro Mod, we're going to exclude XRP, and in Pro Mod, it'll be 4 out of 4 of
So
the
essentially,
other locations.
So essentially, as a rod competitor or top sportsman, top dragster competitor, you can drop one race essentially. So if you can't make it to one, then you get the other 4.
Right.
Okay, cool. George, you want to go to commercial break before we get into the viewer questions? Because I got some written down over here.
Well, why'd you have to tell him? I was going to tell him anyway. But anyway, you read my mind. Everybody hang in there. We're going to give a quick shout to our marketing partners. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we'll be right back to you with more with Mel and Larry from IHRA. Don't go anywhere. BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts are able to provide you with whatever you desire to enhance your drag racing operation. Items like safety belt magnets, nitrous bottle holders, and even quick release delay box mounts are able to be obtained from BRG Motorsports 3D printer racing parts. Have a look at top selling items such as helmet hooks and steering wheel hooks, which are proven to make it easier to maneuver throughout your race car. You can contact BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts at telephone number 765-729-1177.
TSR Racing Products has everything you need to make your Power Glide, Turbo 350, Turbo 400, and 727 transmissions the best they can be on the street or at the track. With exceptional products, customer service, and over 30 years of experience, TSR Racing Products is always available to help their customers with any of their transmission needs. In-house machining ensures you only receive the best products from TSR Racing. Visit TSR Racing Products at tsr-racing.com or give them a call at 800-394-5889.
We've completely redesigned our best-selling thermostat fan to make it even better. ProForm's high-performance universal 15-inch electric fan is the perfect upgrade to replace the stock fan in your vehicle. It's equipped with a thermostat that's adjustable from 160 to 240 degrees. Mounted to your radiator supports with sturdy brackets and driven by a heavy-duty motor, this unit pulls up to 2,800 CFM of air with a 14-amp current draw. All mounting hardware and wiring are included.
All right, guys. Welcome back. Going Bracket Racing here live with the IHRA leadership. And I'm pretty sure they want to say thank you to everyone behind the scenes who's helping out them as well. As I know for a fact, I've already heard Larry thank his IT department. And her name is I'm pretty sure near and dear to his heart. So thanks everybody for joining in, hitting that share button. Thanks all to our marketing partners for everything that you do for us here at Going Bracket Racing to keep the lights on. We're going to continue moving forward into this show as we got more questions coming in. A little bit more than what we can deal with sometimes there. But keep them coming, guys, because that's why we're here to answer as many of those questions as possible. Casey, I'll go to you. I know you got some questions out of that YouTube side over there.
Yeah, this is actually something that was on our Facebook page earlier, but I didn't want to forget about it. So Jesse Fritz on the Facebook page says, will you honor a competitor's license and chassis certs, or does everyone need IHRA credentials? And if IHRA credentials are required, would you allow current NHRA license to directly cross to IHRA? So essentially cross-referencing whatever classes that you're current for right now, send it in, send a copy of it, and pay the money. Now you got an IHRA license for that same class.
Yes, all NHRA, TDRA, their license it transfers right over. You just go on the internet and the membership center on IHRA.com. And IHRA has always accepted NHRA chassis certs. So yes, so you don't have to restart your car to come run.
Okay.
We'd like you to.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Larry would like you to. So.
Right. speaking of that, for chassis certifications in your general area, you go to iatra.com. Is there still a list of current chassis certification officials for your vicinity?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Jesse Fritz, you're good to go, man. So
Yeah, I seen a post as well. I think Cody Pelage may be doing some of that out in a certain division as well. Am I correct as far as for
Yes,
chassis
sir.
certs? Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. So you guys know Cody,
we're-
so reach out.
So yeah, we're getting ready to. He's got 4 locations. We're putting Cody's locations up in the next couple of days on online, so he can go and see that. We get 2 weeks at his track, and then when Cody goes to any of our sports and spectaculars, he'll be there to take care of chassis as well.
Got it. Casey, you got
Awesome.
another one?
yeah, man. One of our long time might be the very first GBR fan ever, actually. Troy Abercrombie. He's from out there in Oregon. His I guess I shouldn't say it, but anyway, one of his aliases is Troy from Oregon. But anyway, so is IHRA looking for opportunities on the West Coast? I think a lot of the people out here may prefer their bracket program over NHRAs.
We're looking everywhere.
Getting the tracks to swap in the Pacific Northwest, especially up there. I mean, it's tough because you got to be able to get 3 or 4 together. But trust me, we reach out every year. We got a lot of great programs for them, and you never know. I got one here in Wyoming that we're working on right now, so it's kind of cool.
Nice.
Definitely. Yeah, man. I know out there, those guys are, especially the Californians, they're hurting for tracks more and more. And everybody on the West Coast, I know Troy races at Woodburn quite a bit. And, he's constantly talking about wanting to go racing more, and any opportunity that there might be out there. I know that a lot of racers out there would jump at the opportunity to have more opportunity to go racing.
Right.
Yeah, and it would take guys like him to put the bug in the track's ear, and tracks can talk together, and you just never know. Easy to deal with. So.
Yeah, he'd be a great guy to talk to. I know he's getting ready to throw a race at that track for the first time this year. I think he's doing some announcing duties, so he's a guy to talk to. I'll get you his information after the show's over, if you're interested.
Yep. And one thing I like, actually love, especially being GBR Media, my streaming platform that we live stream racing events. You guys will have IHRA TV on the premises for each one of these events. And talk to me a little bit about that. As this is just a question for me. No one actually typed this in the chat, but I'm definitely all ears anytime, or in my computer screen anytime I can turn on a race. So, am I correct to say IHRA TV will be on the premises?
Yep.
Very good. And so the event will be live. Is this
unless something crazy happens, which you never know?
Right.
Hey, we know all about the crazy stuff that can happen when you're live streaming. So
especially on a technological stance, it definitely can be quite trying. Speaking from experience here now, but definitely.
Yeah, Larry's bought state-of-the-art equipment. We bought our own internet for the tracks. I mean, we went all out to make sure we can make this stuff happen. Larry's even took a class on how to make it work. So Larry can actually, if one of our guys doesn't show up, Larry can actually get this thing up and running. And
no, I can't.
He's like,
he may not want to.
No, I can't do it. That's the hard part, is finding people to help you do it.
It's definitely a task. Now, on the other hand of that, is this a 2-day event? I think I've seen that question somewhere out there. Casey, you were probably going to ask it. I'm sorry if I stole it from you. But does this is this a 2-day or a weekend event? How's it structured?
Larry, you want to answer that, or you want me to?
Go ahead. You're the one. I'm trying to answer.
It's basically a 2-day event with a Thursday test session. So we'll open the gates on Thursday. Even some tracks will open on Wednesday. Darlington open on Wednesday. They have like their Wednesday night deal. So if you want to come to Darlington on Wednesday night, you can come run. You can run them and then have our test session on Thursday. We have qualifying and gamblers on Friday. Okay, so that's what Friday's schedule is going to be like. And then Saturday morning, the last chance qualifier, basically did that to where if a guy just couldn't get off of work, or just something came up, he still had a shot to qualify. And then if all works out, 2:00 opening ceremonies, start eliminations, and
And run it to
Go from there.
completion. Yeah, so hey, and to piggyback off of that answer, with there being a gambler's race, do you need to be entered into the top event, the main event, in order to participate in the gambler's race?
Yes.
Okay, got it. I know someone's going to ask that question, so I might as well have brought it up to you. I'm one of them, of course. I'll do my best to
Right.
get
Yeah,
my name on the list, but we'll see what happens.
You can be entered in it. You don't have to be entered in no box or box, but you have to conform to those rules. I mean, if you run a rod class and you wanted to run it, you could,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Uh-huh.
But if we did, once again, if we did open it up where anyone could come run that gambler, then we'd be the same thing on Friday than we would on Saturday. Wouldn't be able to finish.
Yeah.
So I gotta go.
I mean, it's good problems to have, but we want to make it as clean of a race as possible.
So I got to go a step further. Is this a gambler's race per class on the list, or is it just for top and bottom bulb?
Top and bottom and juniors.
Gotcha. Okay, got it. That's good. Good. Okay, so what else you got, man?
And I don't know if you guys even touched on the top and bottom payouts.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's bring that back up. Yep. So
Yeah,
that's going to get the people to enter quickly too. I mean, it's decent payout. Like, once again, we're not trying to recreate anything. We just want decent payouts and reasonable entry fees.
Yeah, absolutely. $5,000 to win top and bottom, both. Which, I mean, top bulb in my area, top bulb, that's pretty much what it pays for the most part. But bottom bulb, I mean, I've got so many friends in the bottom bulb class, and I raced bottom bulb for the last 6 months of this year just to get a real feel for it, because I've always wanted to do it. And man, bottom bulb gets stepped on so many times, and here's your opportunity to race for the same money that top pays every single weekend out here by me anyway. So here's your opportunity to show up and see what you can do, because there's a lot of bottom bulb cars out there, man. You win a $5,000 race, you paid half the car off. So, and they're no slouch either. I've often wondered why bottom bulb is kind of talked about as a lower level class, because they are not lower level, not anymore, at least.
No.
Right. Some of these cars are definitely high top notch cars. Buyback was at $75. Am I calling that out right for top and bottom?
Correct.
Okay, very good.
Correct.
And it looks like it's paying back to the eighths, if I'm looking at this correctly. I got my phone up here, but
Correct.
150 to the eighths, $750 to the runner-up. Hold on, am I looking at that? No, sorry about that. I'm looking at that wrong.
Higher.
It's higher, yeah, definitely higher. $1,000 to the runner-up, $500 to semis, $250 to quarters, $150 to eighths on a $150 entry fee. So definitely something that, again, we will definitely mention it. It will sell out probably in 30 seconds. So if you're watching this show, there's 50 of you on here right now. There's only going to be 14 more slots left if all of us enter at the same time. So let's get it going. Casey, what else you got?
On the YouTube side, Bracket Racer 1, will we see a divisional or localized program like NHRA has for the Rod Series? It would be nice to be able to stay in a general area rather than travel all around the world to race these classes. So in the future, say there is a big showing for all these rod races for this year, because obviously we know this is the feeling it out year. Come next year, will we have more of a divisional series where, for example, in my area, you could run it, say, Darlington, Roxborough, and Piedmont, something like that.
Yes, that's why we're testing the waters in each of these areas to see where it would work in the division. So it may, like I said, it may not work in one, and it might work great in another one. So we're gonna just gonna, like I said, test the waters, see how it goes. But yes, having those localized deals is, for each division, or each, like, say you would put division 1 and 9 together, the Carolinas and all that. That's probably how it would work out, like you said.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. It's just, like I said, the sky's the limit. It's just participation and what people want and what people will continue to support.
Hey, you know what? You know what? Now that you mentioned this too, and this is just a good time for me to throw it out here, and it's more of comments and my thought process behind things. But I know most of us remember the first time we'd ever done something. And in particular, I remember my first basketball game. Do you want to know why I remember that game so vividly? Because we got beat 84-1. Okay, so you take your butt kickings as they come. Well, we ended up playing that team 2 years later, and we beat them by 40. Okay, so you got to go through a little bit of trial and error as a team or a function. and before you get the answer to the test anyway. So I appreciate you guys bringing it all back in the first place. Casey, you're gonna say something.
Well, it actually kind of aligns with what I was about to say. Old Racer just said in the chat over here, we don't all need to race the same thing everywhere. And that's kind of what I was getting ready to say, which was just because, say, the rod classes blow up in the Carolina area, and say they don't in Texas, and say Texas wants to do real steel and they want to do outlaw pro mod and stuff like that. And then say now all of a sudden you go up to, Illinois, Missouri area, and say now all of a sudden they want to do rod stuff. We don't all need to race the same thing. That's what you guys are saying this entire time, is that you just want to give more opportunities to race. Whatever you want to race, that's fine. You guys are giving people the outlet to go racing. So support what stuff you want to support, and we'll do that in that area. Absolutely. And we don't all need to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
And I kind of agree with what he's saying over here, because that's half the problem with the world today, is that everybody's so worried about everybody's got to be this way or that way. Why can't everybody just all do what they want to do over here and support that and do that? And then everybody else over here can do that. So that would be great if, just more opportunities to race for everybody. That's what's better for everybody in general. It's better for iTrain, it's better for the racer, it's better for the tracks. As long as everybody's supporting the programs, then that's what's going to be there.
I agree.
Yeah, I can piggyback on it too, because it's seemingly, and this is what I'm expecting here, especially with the real steel class you guys are bringing into the mix here. I don't know if it'll ever happen to where, and it's probably harder to do with more of the no prep side, but definitely some of those pro mod races that they're having over there. Are we actually going to see the crossover between this sanction or this type of racing and that type of racing? Because in the grand scheme of things, I just really want to watch some cool cars go fast down the track or participate at the same time that's happening, because some of those classes bring in hundreds of thousands of spectators. You know what I mean? So how do we bridge the gap? Can we bridge it, in your opinion?
Yeah, we're getting ready to bridge it.
Getting ready to happen. And I kind of see it coming too, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. I don't know if anybody else in the chat feels the same way, but I understand this thing is going to be built to get people in the stands, which is something that is missing from our sport in the first place. So looking forward to watching it. Are we still on the same level? Larry, you let out last time you were here TFD? The TFD class that you were talking about? Are we still on that, man? Because I've been excited about that since you mentioned it.
I don't know, man. We're just gonna slow it down a little bit, man.
Slow it down.
I mean, I'm not saying we want to have bitch cars, We want to do some badass racing. Because every bracket guy, trust me, every bracket guy wants to go up there and see something cool or out of control, or drag your kid up there and see it. And we just want to make racing cool and fun again. That's all. And then we want to give you an organization that appreciates you, And if anybody knows what we've done at the World Finals and Team Finals, and we all let people know we appreciate them, And I think they feel the appreciation. So just gonna keep doing what we're doing. And Joe Dirt said it. We're gonna keep on keeping on.
Yep. I ain't seen that movie in a long time.
That goal is to have these races done at a reasonable hour. I mean,
right.
Trust me, we did. Even at our World Finals, we had one night. It ended up in the wee in the morning, hours of the morning, because you got so many cars.
And we don't want to race on Sunday.
Right.
We want you to head home, man. We want you to be home.
Right. And that's gonna resonate across areas too, especially here in Texas. I know a lot of people get up, go to church on Sunday mornings. So thankful to the RFC, the Races for Christ team, at least to come out and give us a service before we go racing. So shouts out to you for that, for sure. Casey, you were gonna say something.
Yeah, Old Racer again here in the chat. Will we see Mountain Motor Pro Stock back?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a Larry question right there.
We got another class too that we're wanting to bring. We're wanting to read like a new class, something like the Top Fuel deal, But it's all on participation this year. You know what I mean? We definitely want Mountain Motor Pro Stock. I mean, we want it all. We want it all. Anybody that's got a race car. I mean,
just saying.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, John Montecalvo liked this post. I'm just saying.
John Montecalvo is awesome.
Go ahead.
It's all about support, and people just start stepping up and, backing this thing and believing in it. The sky's the limit here once we get rolling.
Absolutely.
We just got to get rolling.
Yep, absolutely. No, man. Hey, got questions coming in.
And all right, we got, and then
here, I'll tell you this class. I'll tell you this class I'm thinking about, and you guys tell me how cool this will be.
Here we go.
Gets going. All right.
Go ahead.
I love trucks. All right. John knows this. Elijah Moore knows this. I've called everybody. I want to do mountain motor pro stock truck.
Ooh.
I think that would add the bone.
It would be that. And the coolest thing is that I don't know how you fit the motor under those little hoods. I guess you'd figure that out. But the thing is that trucks, in my mind, mean big things. Like when you think of a truck in your head, you think of, like, if you ask a little kid, what's a truck? Well, it's got big tires or a dump truck or something like that. Trucks mean big. Yeah. And they should have never had a little small block. They should have had a mountain. That would be awesome. And they make big sounds.
Trucks. I mean, we all love trucks.
Yep.
Wes Bucks
we all do.
He's commenting. Wes Bucks says, big motor pro stock truck would be cool for sure. Yeah, you're right.
Now,
that'd be awesome.
There you go, Wes. He'll run off with it.
He's gonna run. Taking that doggone it.
I think it'd be awesome. You heard it first here on Going Bracket Racing.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, don't steal it, Wes. Don't be like that.
Don't be like that.
Bad to the bone.
Man.
A couple things that we're bringing out for the Hot Rod Classic is we got these Iron Man awards that are special. They're black powder coated, and they're only going to be given out at Hot Rod Classics. Got our new medallion that all the winners will get, brand new, and then a nice little black necklace right here to go along. All cool stuff. That's what we want to make this race. We want to make it cool. We want to make people, when they win this deal, they can go home with some cool hardware.
Yeah, that is cool too, to be able to separate a certain Iron Man from another Iron Man, because you always have the opportunity to win this kind, but only one way to get this kind, like the national event trophies. I mean, that's always cool to have something up there. You're like, well, you don't have that one.
You don't got that one. Yeah, it's the prestige of it all. So, yeah, guys, we're coming up on our hour time here, to a good old Going Bracket Racing community. But I just want to kind of bring back up a few things that's going to be coming pretty soon. If I heard Mel right, he said on Thursday. Mel, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think you said thevote.com is where you head to in order to get signed up. Did I get that right?
Yes, thevote.com/IHRA. We'll have a link on our Facebook page and on that event information. And then, like I said, we will, if everything goes smoothly, 7:00 Central, we'll open up ticketing for the XRP event.
So if you're anything like me, my long-term memory is not the greatest. I'm getting older, I guess. I think you better go out on your phones as we're watching this here and go ahead and set you an alarm clock for about 6:55 if you're out here in Texas. Because if you miss it, you blink and it's going to be sold out. Is basically what I'm getting at. I just set my own alarm for the whole thing, and now my alarm's going to go off today at 6:55. But that's all right. I'll fix that in a second. Casey,
we got one more thing over here, and this is something I want to mention too, since it was off the cuff here. Eric White says, make them be full-size trucks, no mini trucks.
Wait. Don't be hating on the mini trucks.
Hey, I'm just saying.
We like all trucks. Man.
All of them.
We like all trucks. Matter of fact, we had Trucking Tuesday today, a really clean 04 Colorado built out of Kentucky. I mean, a really cool truck. So
it is a nice truck.
Yeah, we're all for cool trucks. So.
And I think a truck class would take off like crazy. I mean, there's tons of those getting built into radial cars now. And I think there's that Maximus and Bipolar got a big grudge now out here. Man,
Boosted Blue will walk them all day long.
There's the red blown Dodge. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, Boosted Blue.
Here's a question. Here's another one.
Bipolar made him look like he had the brakes on.
Here's another one out of Billy Lawrence. He says, old IHRA racer just getting on. He just joined in. Thanks for joining us, by the way. Will rod classes be all run? I will bring a big truck.
He has a big
Yeah.
truck too, and it gets moving
Yeah.
for 4,200 pounds.
Wow.
So
So
yeah, the
is it
rod
all run?
classes are all, it's all run. The first round will be random pairings, and then it'll be on a ladder after that.
That question
First
was
round random pairing.
That question was in here too. So someone asked, now is that for all classes, or is that just?
All that's for the rod classes.
Thank you. Okay, because we can't get on a ladder in top. We have buybacks and things of that nature that we got to go through. So
I know they got
getting on a ladder.
top dragster, top sportsman will be laddered from the get go.
Gotcha. Yep. That was the last question over here, Casey. I'm sure, guys, don't forget. I mean, this show might end here in the next 2 or 3 minutes, but this thread will be live on Going Bracket Racing. If you have questions, I promise you, Larry and Mel are watching this thread. Okay, so if you have questions, go ahead and leave them. If you want to ask us to ask them, maybe you might be a little nervous. Go ahead and do that too. We'll push a question out for you. So, Casey, what do you got before we get out of here, man?
Man, I just want to tell these guys thanks for coming on again, and we appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to come over here with us. But I want to give you guys the opportunity to thank all your sponsors, because I know you got a whole lot of people that help you guys out getting ready to put on all these hot rod classics and everything. So shout those out for a little bit.
Mel, you're good at the sponsorship. I just want to thank you, Casey, and I want to thank you, George, for doing what you guys do for this sport, and I want to say thanks to everybody that's got a race car. I don't care what kind of race car you got. I don't care if it runs 12s in the 8th mile. I don't care if it runs 3s in the 8th mile. I just go out and get your race car and have some fun.
Heard that.
I appreciate everybody that's stuck with IHRA. We're about ready to make it great again.
Yes. So we signed Stroud, official safety supplier, last night. So that's one of our latest sponsors. Obviously, Summit Racing Equipment, Sunoco Race Fuels, Red Tide Canopies, RacingJunk.com, Mosier, Extreme Racing Oil, and LJ1 Oil, ATI Performance Products, Strange, Fuel Tech, Champion Autolift, Dom Baskin Truck Sales, Durana Hybrid. That's a really cool company that probably nobody knows of, but it's just, check out their website and see what they do. It's absolutely crazy what they can do. And then we got a couple other. We got M&M Transmission just came on board, so we want to make sure we thank that. Larry's companies, Larry Jeffers Race Cars. You can't forget that. Bullet Racing Engine. All Larry's companies all contribute to IHRA one way or the other. He rolls them all into one. So definitely need Larry's companies to keep going, especially Extreme Racing Oil. I mean, go check it out. They got oil for everything, including a lot of these racetracks. They're owned by either farmers or trucking companies. They got bulk oil. I mean, it's like a no-brainer if you can get a hold of Extreme Race Oil and talk to Larry and talk to Ed, who runs the show over there. It's a big deal. So support Larry's companies.
Absolutely. Well, guys, as always, we thank you for taking time out of your day, the busy day, taking time away from fielding all the questions that I guarantee you guys are inundated with, and coming on to Going Bracket Racing, speak to our community, speak to the racer itself about what you got going on. It's time to get excited about it, because if you blink, April 11th is going to be here. I'm pretty sure I'll see you there one way or the other. Either I'm going to be participating or I'm going to be spectating. One way or the other, I'll see you guys out there at Extreme Raceway Park. I don't think I have anything going on. I'm pretty sure I don't. And I'll be trying to get in the race. So hopefully I'll be pitted out there with my thing. So everybody, thanks for joining in.
Thank you.
Share button. And we'll see you guys next time. That's going to be
Thanks,
next
George. Thanks, CB. Thanks,
Take
Mel.
it easy.
Thanks,
Thank you, guys.
Thanks everybody.
Appreciate